But the biggest drama, and that's the one I want to talk to you about, is the whole Sancho thing that kind of came afterwards because he was not even in the game squad.
Yeah.
So after the game, Ten Hag kind of like basically says, without saying, he says something like, on the training pitch and stuff like that, basically saying he is not training well. I don't know what that's like really means, but so then Sancho comes out with this. Please don't believe everything you read. I will not allow people to say things that is completely untrue. I have conducted myself in training very well this week. Like the complete, let me say the complete opposite of what he said. I believe there are other reasons for this matter that I want to go into. I've been a scapegoat for a long time, which isn't fair. So I will give him that last sentence. Okay. All I want to do is play football with a smile on my face and contribute to my team. And this definitely sounds like a wreck parent. I respect all decisions that are made by the coaching staff. Do you, though? I play with fantastic players and grateful to do so, which I know every week is a challenge. I will continue to fight for this badge no matter what. So, a lot to unpack there. Let's unpack this first. I believe there are other reasons for this matter that I won't go into. Well, he asked for it. Let's freaking speculate because he's not saying the reason. So what is the reason, you think? What is he talking about?
I have no idea. I mean, I'm sure United fans are like, can we just have one day without drama for this club, please? It's like a reality TV series, not a football club. Especially with the Anthony stuff that just came out too, which I know that we might not have time for, nor do I really want to go into it too much because it's just another sad case of footballers abusing their powers in a way. But as far as Sancho goes, I do feel for the kid. I think he was
really, by the way, keep going, but I'm going to bring this back around to you. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I think he was brought in the situation was already in turmoil when he came in. And I don't think he had the best opportunity to fit in the way that he was hoping to. I know he could have chosen to go elsewhere, but I think ultimately, his career will have a revival somewhere that isn't United. And with a public statement like this, with a club the size of United, it's one of them has to go, either Sancho or Ten Hag. And I don't think Ten Hag is going anywhere. So I think Sancho's gone in January, to be honest, because I don't particularly see a world where you have that sort of public spat between manager and player, especially a player at the price tag that he was purchased for, and like not have it go smoothly. Like they're not going to be shaking hands and smiling all of a sudden, just because of the way that he's saying is like almost as if like Ten Hag is saying shit. Like he's not saying anything that's true. So I don't know. It's weird, but I do feel for him a little bit.
Feel for him for what though? Like that's what I'm confused with. Because let's face it. I mean, honestly, we're looking at it from the player's point of view because he's the one who made the longer statement. But Ten Hag basically saying you're not practicing hard. And if he's a manager, see, like I don't agree with what Serzi is saying. It's up to the coach to get his players working hard, not to throw them under the bus. Ten Hag as a complete club will never throw his players under the bus publicly. Really? Because he threw Sturridge under the bus, and rightfully so. He basically implied that Sturridge does not play when he's not 100%. And he was right for it, because Sturridge is – a lot of players sometimes play through stuff. Klopp implied that Sturridge does not, and he was right to do so. I think you try certain things, but at the same time, if the guy is not really working hard, and then as a coach, I'm like, well, you're not trying hard enough. And your comeback is, I am trying hard enough. Because that's what he's saying in the statement. I am working hard. I am practicing.
Yeah, I guess. And I mean, we can only see so much that happens just on match day. We don't get to see the behind the scenes in training.
But
right?
Shouldn't the manager have, I mean, this is what he can do is, you want a squad, you got to work, you want to be in the game squad, you got to work harder. I'm assuming this is not like, you would hope this is not how Ten Hag is the first time he passed this message along, and it's been a conversation. Yeah. Obviously, it's been a conversation in the past. Ten Hag is not the guy who brought him in, so he might be a player that he's not big on himself. But it goes back to when this weekend we were looking at Lavia sitting in the stands. Everybody was like, oh, poor kids. his agent chased the more money and stuff. I am not buying this stuff at the time where if you're able to sign on the dotted line of a multi-million-dollar contract, you are able to make decisions. You are not a kid anymore. And the agent works for you. You tell the agent what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, if you hire a lawyer and you're like, I guess I'm going to prison for 25 years for a traffic ticket because that's the deal he worked out for me. That's not how it freaking works. You're like, wait, what? You're out of here. Bring in another lawyer that's going to just give me the ticket and get the hell out of here. That's what the part I don't understand with Sancho is. And I almost feel like he went to United knowing it was a hot mess. So he would easily be able to go out there like, let's face it, Anthony has done.
Yeah, perhaps. And maybe, and Ten Hag has given him, he's covered for him before, right? I think he had Sancho that spell where he had to leave the club for 2 to 3 weeks, focus on his mental health and whatnot. So I think maybe I just like, there's a side of me that thinks that it all stems from some sort of unstableness that he needs to have worked out. And maybe part of it is because I think he was so fun and fantastic to watch at Dortmund and was a little bitter when he decided to go to United that like I always I want him to leave and do better. And that's why I feel for him a little bit. But yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong at all because he does get to see him in training. He does get to see really how much effort's being put in. And clearly Ten Hag is a guy who likes to reward players who do well in training. He's not one of those managers that just rewards game days. And so there's definitely that to it. And I think overall it's just the locker room there in general is just a mess between that and like players like Maguire saying I have nothing to prove, and everything else going on. It's just, I'm sure it's not an easy spot to be in when you have all of this drama of players around you and you still can't even get into just get into sit on the bench. Like that would frustrate you. And then you would come out and say something like that still.
I mean, one thing I do worry and I feel bad for him in this sense is, having just what was like a month ago or so, I think you and I talked about the whole Dele Alli interview and stuff like that. And you would think, yeah, I mean, there has to be when that mental health thing happened. I'm sure he has some kind of, like depression issues and stuff like that. Coming from that and what you were expecting to what you have now, I'm sure is a huge downer. And obviously he's not coping with it well. Dom says, so here's an interesting one right here. Klopp wanted Sancho before. Just wondering if Mo goes in January, there's certainly a player there. Let's go back to the Mo thing because that would be actually, you know what? Let's not go back to the Mo thing. But you would think we'll go to the Mo thing at the very end on our way out. We'll take a dump and leave. Klopp wanted Sancho before. Do you think? Like, is that even a chance that they sell him to another team? Like because you said Ten Hag is not going anywhere, which means Sancho is probably going somewhere. Or I know they've done this before. Maguire's still there, and clearly Ten Hag is not big on Maguire either, and he's only in the squad because fucking Evans is in the squad.
There's no one else to put in there. I don't think Sancho would come to Liverpool at all, or they would sell to Liverpool. I don't think they would sell him to anyone in the Premier League. If anything, it might be like a loan to France or Germany or Spain or whatever the case for a year and kind of see how that goes and comes back.
I'll take him to Fenerbahce. How about that? Loan deal. The window is still open, baby. Just bring him over. It's a mess we can all enjoy, says Brian. Yeah. So this says publicly putting Sancho out there reduces the value of the player. If I don't want to sell him, why tell the world that's... And that's why I feel like I agree to that. Maybe, he is probably trying to win him back. I don't think his goal is to, because like you're saying, we've seen the player. So, having seen, you see Anthony out there, seriously. He's a one-trick pony for the most part. He did do better, I thought, defensively compared to his regular performances in terms of like coming back.
Yeah.
But last week's a couple of like the goals, he was the one not coming back and stuff. Yeah, that's another thing. Chelsea will probably spend 150 on him and take him off their hands. I think this is a way of him trying to win him back. Obviously, listening to Sancho's sides, you're not going to hear. But you are saying Ten Hag will finish the season. Prediction time. Will Ten Hag finish the season at United?
Yes. Do you?
Not the way it's going.
I don't expect it to go like this.
Oh,
I
I
think,
got you.
Yeah, I think they'll bounce back a little bit. They'll bounce back enough where they'll compete for. They'll be within top 4 in the last few
Maguire
weeks.
and Evans are your center backs because I don't know what happened to Martinez.
For now. Maybe things change in January a little bit. I don't
see if things keep going like this. I don't think
I don't
Ten
see
Hag
who
sees
else.
January.
I don't see who else they would bring in though.
Ole, who also is like a victim of the screwed up system that they got going. I feel like really. I mean, ultimately, just signing. It's not even Chelsea because you're not even signing really good guys for a lot of money. You're just like signing guys for a lot of money to show dollar value. I mean, I feel like if you have Evans and Maguire as your center backs, you are in deep shit. Because, I mean, if you think about it, they won 2 games. One of them because Onana assaulted 2 guys in the box and they did not get a penalty called for Wolves. That should have easily been a draw. And the other one, really, they had to come back from like 2-0 down.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they haven't been great. And I get that. I think they will correct some things. And I think having Højlund out there instead of Martial will be good because while I think Højlund was way too expensive, he has a lot of size. He's really quick. And I do actually seeing him play for a few minutes yesterday. He looked decent. He kind of reminded me weirdly of Nunez in a way where he's kind of just like big and speedy and all over the place. So I think maybe if that corrects itself a little bit, then they'll be able to get a few results, which will make him hang on for a little bit longer.
I can see that if somebody's getting them. Ten Hag will be there for a while, hopefully. But here's my point. Like, we've said this for the last 2, 3, 4 United managers, and that's why I don't think manager is the problem. Because we said this, we were like, hope Jose sticks around for like, you wanted Mourinho to stick around, we wanted Ole to stick around, because it was all the same. And I think because that is not the manager, I think that's making difference. But hey, it makes for great comedy. For me, ripping on my brother. When I saw that dude come out, I was like, dude, it looks like you guys got Haaland from Wish.com, and they were like a generic version of Haaland who came out. But yeah, I mean, over Martial, it's probably. He might be more the style that Ten Hag is looking for, but I go back to if they have Evans and Maguire starting, I don't care if you have actual
They'll have to
Haaland
score
himself.
4. Yeah,
I don't think it's going to make a difference.